Welcome back to the Columbus, Ohio Real Estate Market Update. I'm Ryan Deere with Key Realty, and in today's show, we are diving into the January 2025 market stats the Columbus, Ohio board puts out for us. And obviously, it's the first month of the year, so we're going to see how the year has kicked off for us here in Columbus. And we are going to show some trends that are going to take place and kind of give you my idea of what I think is going to happen the next few months. So let's dive into it. All right, here is the 2025 market update for January and kicking off the year for us. And we can see that numbers are closed sales are down. This is a theme we've been talking about all year last year and the last year before that, really since 2023. We've seen sales down, but they dipped again. We're kind of seeing them on the uptick, and we've seen them actually dip starting off the year, which is interesting. And this is actually the lowest we've seen in a month since 2025, apparently. So that's it's not really a huge stat for consumers because really who cares about the number that's closed. But it just if you're looking around, if you've been looking to buy or even just looking around the market right now, there's just a lot of not a ton of inventory, and the inventory is out there is not great. And so the ones that are good are selling quick still. But at the same time, we are, not selling as many as we used to, which is really, honestly, it's hurting the people in the industry more than anything. Consumers are, don't really care, but they'd like to have more options, of course. Um, when it comes to pricing's still up year over year, but I want to show you something. We're month over month, we've seen a pretty drastic dip in these numbers. So, I always look at the year over year when it comes to appreciation. How healthy is the market? If we're seeing appreciation year over year, the market's healthy. It's good. It's good for everyone that owns a house, and it's actually good for people looking to buy because the market's still going to go up once you buy potentially. It's most likely it's going to go up if we have a healthier market. So it makes it easier to purchase a property knowing that, hey, it's probably going to continue to go up after I purchase as well. But I want to jump down to this graph. I love to show this graph because it just really highlights the seasonality in Columbus. And you can zoom in here on this last year. You can see we saw, big jump, in the spring, of course, and we saw down, but we saw really drastic dip this last month. And I just want to, point that out. I think it's, we had something in here in November called an election here, and it was also obviously a result in that election. And I think a lot of people, I don't think whoever won, you may have thought, well, this party is going to change things now and it's going to make a difference. So there was a little bit of a bump after the election. People were kind of holding their breath, waiting for that to make a decision, maybe to make a move or not. When it happened, people made moves. Then all of a sudden we saw, prices shoot down after that. So I think it was a reality of like, wait, whoever won, it wasn't going to change overnight anything. It wasn't going to change interest rates overnight. And therefore, I think people are kind of, maybe I should wait a little bit longer too, or we're getting closer to the spring season. Also, the holidays really impact, the market. So I tell people, you can sell a house in December in Columbus, but it's also the worst time to sell a house in Columbus. So, it's cold, there's stuff going on, there's events, it's, holidays, no one wants to move. You have your, decorations up, your tree up. No one wants to take that stuff down and move. And so it's just, not a great time to list a house, and buyers are not looking as often as they will. Then the new year hits and buyers start to think, okay, what do I want to change this next year? Is it potentially where I live? And there's, a lot of conversations starting to take place with buyers about getting them into a home in 2025. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more buyers in the market. We've already seen, I think this market data is always a month behind. So it's usually delayed. So we kind of got to look at this data and kind of say where is it going, and thinking about where is it at right now. um, and understanding what I'm seeing in the field and kind of putting this together and saying, yeah, these numbers month over month, you can see, 341 was the average price. And it was 331, so almost 10K more than the year before. But you look at the month before, we were over 10K higher just in December compared to January. And that's because, these are January statistics are homes that were listed in December. So you got to think these aren't homes that are listed in January, the closed numbers, the average sale price, median price, and average price per square foot. These are homes that were listed in December, most likely, or even November at times, because it takes 30 to 40 days on average to close a house. So this is, when you think about the closing numbers here and the numbers that we're seeing in these graphs and these lines, you got to look at, think about the time we get the data. It's on the market a month before. So the marketing time and all that matters. So kind of thinking about when to market your house if you're looking to sell or looking to buy, when to potentially buy. This you got to think a month in the rear when you see these statistics. So that's what we're seeing. Closed homes in December are obviously up compared to last year, which is a modest growth. So we're starting the year off. This you can see here, year to date, we're starting the year off with you know, average sell price of 3.3% higher than last year and almost 5 on the median price, and then 1 point on price per square foot. So, and then we dipped back down on the median sell price. We were up, I think 2024 December, or sorry, January was the last time we saw under 300, and we got back down to that this month as well, just barely under that 300 mark. What were we at last? Where's last month's here? There's last month. We were at 320. So you can see almost a 20K difference month over month from December. So this is the November, closings, November listings. And you can see there's a little bump last month. And we saw that drastic, let's move this over. We saw that drastic correction coming down there. So pretty common to see in January. So I'm not overly alarmed by this. I'm not like, oh, run for the hills or the market's crashing by any means. It's common. January is always a low point in the market. And I am also seeing in the marketplace homes start to sell for over asking, and buyers, seeing multiple offers again and seeing buyers come out after the new year. So we are seeing more buyers out there, in my opinion. I think the data will show that in the next month's stats here. But something to think about is also the new listings and kind of what's coming around the corner. So kind of thinking there are, month supply of inventory is up, new listings are up, and so everything's up, and the median price for new listings obviously up as well. And it's pretty modest. It's kind of sticking with that percentage of growth here. So we're not seeing anything crazy, but we are seeing a pretty large tick of supply accumulating. And this is where, again, I keep harping on this every video I've been producing the last year, really since 2024. It's getting back to the fundamentals, not just nationally, but locally here in Columbus. It's getting back to what communities do people want to be in and what do people value, whether it's school systems or amenities and things like that are going to keep the market steady and keep growth in certain areas, and maybe stagnate in other areas where we're seeing supply really pile up in some areas. We're seeing supply dwindle in others. So that's where you got to be really savvy on where you're looking and what the competition is doing, because you may see options in one neighborhood where you think that you have options in another, and before you know it, there's 5 offers on the house that you thought you would be able to wait and not make an offer on until a week later. So it's always good to check in on your local neighborhood that you're wanting to focus on. And you can see here they break, the Columbus Board of Realtors does a really good job of breaking this down into areas. Let's just pick one, kind of a random one here. We'll just pick Hilliard School District. Click on this, and you can see here, there's a slight uptick, much lower uptick in inventory, than the Columbus as a whole. But you're seeing, average price is way up compared to the average and Columbus as a whole. But median's only up, modestly. It's interesting. The median's actually lower, I believe, than the regular. Yeah, median's lower, but the average is much higher. So, there's things like that. But I, again, look at these holistically. That makes the average, price per square foot much higher as well. So, we're looking at this holistically and saying, okay, Hilliard is still a very competitive market. Don't expect to get in there and see a good house and expect for it to sit on the market for a while, because a good house is going to sell quick in this area. But if you compare that to, let's just go to Columbus School District, which starts with a C, of course. So let's go to Columbus School District here. Let's click on that. And you can see the opposite's kind of true. So we're seeing stuff actually really pile up in Columbus School District as a whole. And you're seeing prices actually go backwards. So that's something to consider. If, as a whole, we're seeing, depreciation in the, Columbus City as a whole when it comes to the school district. So that's something to be aware of if you're looking to sell your house that's in Columbus School District. Now, there's nuance to that as well, because if you look at Columbus School District compared to just, move this out of the way, just to, Clintonville, which happens to be in Columbus School District, is a Columbus School District. We saw average price actually come down as a whole, but we saw median up and median price per square foot up. But we saw, a little bit in uptake in, inventory. So there's, a little bit of nuance to that. We are seeing that kind of hold true with average sale price, which this is the first time I'm seeing this in this area, is prices actually go backwards. If, maybe we say it's stalemate here if you look just at the holistic number, the whole. So interesting, some stats today. I think we're starting to see this kind of market not be quite as, I think we're going to see areas continue to be strong, but we're going to see as a whole, I think in Columbus, we're going to see things kind of steady as the market goes on. I do think there's going to be a busy spring market still. I think we're going to see that number that we consistently see every spring. Our inventory, our appreciation go up every spring. We see that we're going to see the same thing this spring. We're going to see competition come out of the woodworks. We're going to see, I think, more listings as well. Though I think we're seeing a lot of people want to make a move and want to make a change, and we're seeing people, kind of acting on that right now, and they're going to it's going to open up more inventory as well. Because what the problem in the last few years have been is that, the move up buyers and have been sitting in their homes longer. Because of prices and interest rates have increased so much that they've just held tight longer than most likely than they normally would have. And that has an effect on the first time home buyer pool of houses, because the first time home buyers, are sitting in their houses longer. And they're not buying the move up homes as much. And so we're seeing a lot of particularly first time home buyers just go ahead and buy that, higher priced home because there's not a whole lot of, smaller home inventory. And so and we're going to start seeing that open up. I think we're going to start seeing people that, have been in their houses, that 5 to 10 year window that, held on to them a little longer than they wanted to, start to find ways to make a move and make a change. So that's my, prediction. So we're going to see more buyers, come in the market, but we're also going to see more sellers. So, hopefully those numbers, I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I think the number of sales are going to, kind of jump in the next few months, especially this, we hit April and then kind of flatline in the summer again, like we see almost every year. But I'd be intrigued to see just how high it goes this spring, and to see if we actually hit that 5% appreciation rate as a whole, like we've seen in the last few years, or if we kind of break even and hit. I can see it also being, kind of that break even mode of, seeing a flat line this year when it comes to appreciation. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, kind of my prediction of, kind of the taste of the market here as we're getting into January, seeing the January numbers. I think things are starting to get more competitive, but yet there's some signs in the market that have me, kind of pausing a little bit before, I would just rush into making any decision. I think it's getting back to the fundamentals, making sure you're buying the right house, and not just buying a house in a neighborhood that you don't know about, but it's making sure you're buying the right area. Location's obviously a huge factor, but it's also the house. We're seeing homes that need work, even if it's just cosmetically, that need work, not sell for a multitude of reasons. But the reality is that as homes get more expensive, so does the construction of homes, and so does the materials. That people don't have as much money to set aside to redo homes. And so, if your home needs work, you can't price it like it doesn't, because, people are starting to realize how much the construction side of things cost as well. So, yeah, getting back to the fundamentals of trying to, position your house in the best light and also update the things that you need to update to get top dollar is going to be more important than ever, in my opinion, as we start to get tighter here in the market. So hopefully you find this information helpful. I'm always happy to have an individual conversation with you to see what's best for you and your real estate needs. Again, I'm Ryan Dieter with Key Realty, and I look forward to seeing you next time.